Good evening, everybody. Coming to you live from my backyard in Auburn. And just as a warning here, I am in the middle of our 9-hole bucket golf course, which is our backyard. So if you see a ball come flying out of nowhere, it's just my kids playing bucket golf nonstop, obsessively, since we got them this bucket golf set recently. But anyway, I'm not on here to talk about bucket golf. I'm on here to talk about Shenna Bellows and the ballot question she wrote regarding the Protect Girls Sports Initiative. So as you're hopping on tonight, I would like to know your thoughts. What do you think of the ballot question that Shenna Bellows wrote regarding the Protect Girls Sports Initiative? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, here's where I will explain exactly that. All right, so you guys know state policy allows males, biological males, to participate in girls' sports here in Maine. And in fact, if you recall, last February, a boy won the girls' pole vault state championship. That cannot stand. It's ridiculous policy. 2/3 of Mainers across party lines agree it's silly, it's ridiculous, it's unfair, it's not right to allow biological males to participate in girls' sports. So, a group of citizens got together and got signatures to put this issue on the ballot. And so now it's going to be on the ballot in November. Now, where does Secretary of State Shenna Bellows come into this? Well, Secretary of State is responsible for writing the question as it will appear on the ballot. And here's where it gets ridiculous. The question is, do we want to protect Maine girls and ensure that they have a fair, safe, and level playing field, and that they have safe spaces, safe private spaces like locker rooms, bathrooms, showers, etc.? That really is the question. But here is what Secretary of State Shenna Bellows wrote. She wrote, "Do you want to change civil rights and education laws to require public schools to restrict access to bathrooms and sports based on the gender on the child's original birth certificate and allow students to sue the schools?" Now, that is not straightforward. That does not explain the question concisely and accurately. It's intended to add confusion and make you not quite sure what you're voting on. It doesn't say anything really about girls' sports. It talks about restricting and suing and other confusing things. It's not a clear and concise question, and that is what the Secretary of State is tasked to do. Now, here's where you come in. All right, Maine citizens get to, on a ballot initiative, weigh in. You get to make your voice heard. And so if you think this ballot question is ridiculously written as I do, then you should speak up. And so on our Lead Maine website, we have created a page where you guys can submit your comment directly to the Secretary of State website. And I'll share that in the comments after I get off of here. But we made it really, really easy. You can submit public comment between now and May 7th at 5 p.m. And the way that we have this set up, you can either use a sample comment or you can make up your own comment, and then you simply hit submit. It will take you less than 2 minutes. And so we're encouraging folks to submit comment there. If you want to go there right now, you can. It's leadmaine.com/protect girls sports. Very simple to remember, right? That's what we want to do. We want to protect girls sports. So leadmaine.com/protect girls sports. So check that out. I will put it in the comments afterwards, but it just is incredible. You know, the Secretary of State is put into that position by the legislature. So was put forward by the Democrat majority. It was a very partisan election, and that's what we get. We get a partisan hack who is using her position both to run as governor and attempt to win the primary, and also just use it as a political means for scoring points. And so you get ballot questions that are nonsensical, confusing, and don't actually state what the question is. In fact, on this one, here's one main point regarding this question and how the Secretary of State has twisted this. The question is whether there should be sports and private spaces separated by sex, right? Male and female. That is the question, by biological, factual sex, right? And the Secretary of State used that word on the petition itself, but now is using the word gender instead. And, you know, you have people across the state of Maine and across the country and everywhere saying, you know, oh, I've decided my gender is this, or I've decided my gender is that. You can't decide your sex is one thing or the other. You're either born male or female. Full stop. Period. That's it. You can say you can change your gender, but you cannot change your sex. You're born one or the other. So anyway, that's one of the things that is at issue with this question that Shenna Bellows has written, is she's switched out the word and is using the word gender instead of sex. And so as you consider what to write for a comment, that would be a great topic to talk about. You could also talk about how the question is not clear. There are confusing bits in it, like allow students to sue the schools. Well, yes, if a student is discriminated against on the basis of sex, if a female is erased and pushed out of the way by a male, by a biological male, they should be able to sue to rectify that when this law is in place and it is then unlawful for a biological male to be participating in girls' sports. Of course, they should have recourse, right? Legal recourse. And so write your comment on whatever piece of that question most irritates you, that you find most irresponsible on the part of the Secretary of State. And so Ed, thanks for tuning in tonight. I hope that you will go ahead and submit your comment. Of course, as I said, I'll post it in the comments when I hop off this live. But the website is leadmaine.com/protect girls sports. So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We want to make it really easy for you to take action on this issue and speak up and make your voice heard. The Secretary of State should hear about, Mainer's thoughts on how she's worded this question and how it should actually be worded on the ballot. So here's the deal. The comment period runs for 30 days. It's a 30-day period. And then the Secretary of State is supposed to take those comments under advisement and then issue the final question, right? Now, whether the Secretary of State does indeed change the question or not, it's helpful to have that feedback. And I know that the folks who put this petition forward, who collected the signatures, they'd like to have as many comments as possible. And I will tell you, we launched this on our website at noon today, and we have already seen over 300 comments submitted by folks just like you, taking action, making their voices heard. This is such a simple but significant way that you can speak up on an important issue and speak up for Maine girls' rights. So thank you for tuning in tonight. Please go ahead and submit your comment so that the Secretary of State can hear from you and hear in no uncertain terms what Mainers think should be done with the question moving forward, that it should be edited, that it should be clear, that it should be concise, that it should be accurate. And so thank you so much for tuning in. I will be sure to post that link right in the comments so you guys can get to it. And I will talk to you again very, very soon. Thanks so much and have a great night.